What up, most poppin'? This your dog Breeze from Fahrenheit 451, part of the Fourth and Gold Network. We're running the books alive 2-1 in the NBA yesterday. 2 DeRozan points away from the sweep and pulling out El Brumo. Back with my best bets in the NBA for March 25th. A few minutes before the game starts, so let's get into it. First up from the Detroit Pistons for 2 units. Jalen Duren over his 12 rebounds. You can get it at plus 102 over on FanDuel. 17, 12, and 15 rebounds in his last three versus the San Antonio Spurs, who don't have a center. Next, I'm playing that for 2 units. Next, for a half a unit, Jalen Duren over his 15 points, minus 135 over on Bet365. 30, 21, and 21 points in his last three versus San Antonio, who allowed the second most points to the center and the fourth most points in the paint, where Jalen Duren scores 79% of his points. Next, for 1 unit, Jimmy Butler of the Golden State Warriors, formerly of the Miami Heat, over his 23 points, minus 115 odds over on Bet365. No Steph Curry today. Revenge ankle. That's the cap. No, I'm just joking. But definitely no Steph Curry plus the revenge angle. Jimmy scores 49% of his points in the paint. The Heat give up the third most points in the paint on the season. Jimmy scores 27% of his points in the lane. Miami allows the ninth most points on the season in the lane. I feel like one of these are in the last five, and I butchered it. But Jimmy scores 49% of his points in the paint, 27% of his points in the lane. Miami allows the third most points in the paint and the ninth most points in the lane. All right. Next, absolutely snipe this. For 1 unit, Walker Kessler, Texas Ranger, over his 10.5 rebounds, minus 115 odds over on 365. I sniped this. This moves to 11.5. I love it at 11.5. I might spin the block and put them on 11.5. Walker Kessler, Texas Ranger, over his 11 rebounds in his last 5 out of 6 games, 14 rebounds in his last 2 out of 3 games versus the Memphis Grizzlies. On 22 and 23 rebound chances, when he has 22 rebound chances or more, he is over this line in his last 24 out of 27 games this season. Next, from the Oklahoma City Thunder up, SGA, over his 32 points, minus 102 odds over on FanDuel. SGA, 37 and 29 points in his last 2 games versus the Sacramento Kings this season. SGA, 33, 37, 37, 33, 43, 38, 40, and 37 points in his last 8 out of 9 games versus the Sacramento Kings, who allow the ninth most points in the NBA. SGA scores 25% of his points in the lane. The Kings give up the third most points in the lane. SGA scores 25% of his points from above the break threes. Sacramento allows the second most points to above the break threes. Yeah. Last but not least, the Dortcher Chamber, Lu Dort, over his 2 threes, parlayed with SGA over 25 points, minus 105 odds over on DraftKings. Lu Dort, over 2 3-pointers made in his last 4 out of 5 games. Lu Dort, over 2 3-pointers made in his last 10 out of 11 games versus the Kings. Dort, 3, 3, 3, and 6 3-pointers made in his last 4 out of 5 versus the Kings, who allowed the most 3-point percentage in the league and the third most 3-pointers. They also allow the second most threes above the break, as I just alluded to. And last but not least, for a half unit, I will be taking Lu Dort over his 3 threes for the reasons that I just mentioned. Let me see what time it is. We got a little bit of time. So I'll give y'all a quick recap. Jalen Duren over his 12 rebounds. Jalen Duren over his 15 points. Jimmy Butler over his 23 points. Walker Kessler over his 11 rebounds. SGA over his 32 points. Lu Dort over his 2 threes, parlayed with SGA over his 25 points. And Lu Dort, 3 threes. Like, comment, and subscribe for your daily sports betting videos and analysis. Let's keep running them. As always, I will see you tomorrow. If you want access to all of my plays as soon as I place them for just 16 cents a day, subscribe to the Patreon. That will be linked down below. Love, peace, and fish grease. Let's continue to run up some units.